The Kings lose in their first wire-to-wire loss of the season. Come to find out, they got within 2 points, but were not able to hold off the Pelicans at home. In Sacramento, the Kings lose 135 to 123 to the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans are now 48 and 32, and the Sacramento Kings are now 45 and 35. The Sacramento Kings are now stuck in the play-in scenario. They are currently in 8th place and will be in one of the play-in games. Whether it's 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th, we don't know yet. They are in a three-way tie for 8th, 9th, or 10th. So the Warriors are on a 3-game win streak, and the Kings and Lakers are on a 2-game losing streak. The Kings are 10 games over 500, which is wonderful. But obviously in the West this year, it is not enough to get you in the playoff game. It is only enough to get you in the play-in tournament. And the Rockets, I believe, are pretty much out of it with only 3 games left. They can't catch any of the other teams. So the Kings just want to make it easier on themselves by winning. That way they are in the 7th or 8th game. So they would only have to win 1 game to make it into the playoffs. Today is April 12th, 2024. I really want to say thank you for joining me. Y'all back? We back. Y'all back? We definitely back. And it's good that you're here with me today. I have some really important things that I need to get off my chest about the Sacramento Kings. So hopefully you're here for the whole video. And I just want to say, what's going on, YouTube? And what's going on with all my folks and all you Kings fans out there? It's your guy, Jay Woods, aka Shy the Man, and I'm back at you with another episode of the Kings Morning After, Midday Cup of Joe with Jay.
Love it.
Ah, man, it's a true midday cup of Joe out of a Dixie cup today. True, authentic Dixie cup of Joe. You would think it'd be from like the gas station or something like that, right? Or from a hotel lobby. But it's actually from my house. I actually put it in one of these cups today just because I had to go run some errands. I'm back, refilled my cup, but to be honest with you, it's half full. It's halfway through and kind of cold at this point. So it's just kind of yucky like the game yesterday against the Pelicans. And today is Friday. End of the work week Friday. Hey, end of the work week, end of the work week, end of the work week. It should be like that. End of the work week. No, it's like that. End of the work week Friday. Yeah. And my cup of Joe for today is Sacramento Kings just kind of managed to play them with themselves out of the number 6 spot all season, pretty much. Just with these little petty losses, letting certain teams dominate them, like the Pelicans, just able to just dominate the Kings all season with a 5-0 record against the Kings. It's just kind of crazy to me. The Rockets, I want to say, went 4-0 against the Kings too. And I don't know, it's just some of these teams, I don't know. And the Kings, to me, it has to be defense. You know, they got to get better defensively. And they also need another scorer, somebody that can go out there and get points. Another playmaker that can also score, just, a dog type player like Malik Monk, maybe a little taller, They were hoping Keegan Murray would be that guy, but he doesn't seem to be rounding into that guy. He's going to be that really good shooter that you have, that spot up shooter, maybe even mid-range game. I don't know how aggressive Keegan Murray is going to be going to the basket and just that dog mentality when it's time to go get some points. But it's his second year. We'll have to see. It is what it is. The Kings weren't able to close out some games. They're known as the team that will lose a big lead. They even talk about it on TNT at times. How the Barkley is constantly saying they'll let teams back in. They have no defense. That's pretty much their brand. That's pretty much their calling card this year. They can beat anybody and they can also lose anybody. They have a hell of an offense, but that defense is breakable. So it is what it is. The season's coming to a close at this point. There's only 2 games left. And the Kings really need a couple wins just to stay out of that 9-10 spot and just to make it a little easier for themselves. So we'll have to see how these guys play in these next few games. And like I said last video, if they hadn't lost to the 4 worst teams in the NBA, teams like the Pistons, Washington Wizards, Portland Trailblazers, teams like this, they could be in the playoffs with a 49-50 win season. So that's my cup of joe. 1 creamer, no sugar. Quick stats. The New Orleans Pelicans had 6 guys in double digits. They were without Brandon Ingram, but Trey Murphy came in and did just fine in his absence, scoring 27 big points in 45 minutes of play. He actually played more time than anybody else on the court. Brandon Ingram's backup. Brandon Ingram, who we were scared of, we were like, oh, he's out. Great. His backup came in and torched us. And he was a very, very viable candidate for the position. He did well. He was shooting very well. And he's very athletic, young guy that can get to the basket. And he just looked really good in place of Brandon Ingram. They didn't miss a beat. Their leading scorer was Zion Williamson and CJ McCollum, who was shooting the lights out, especially at the end of the game. There was no answer for Zion Williamson. He was driving to the basket at will, with nobody able to put a body on him, or even if they did, they were not able to stop him. Jose Alvarado came off the bench with a big, quick 14 points, hitting a bunch of threes at the end of the game. Dyson Daniels with 10, and Jonas Valanciunas with 13 points. Jonas Valanciunas also had 10 rebounds, and CJ McCollum had 7 assists. Herb Jones had 6 assists. Jose Alvarado had 6 assists. Zion Williams had 6 assists. So as you can tell by these assist stats, they pass the ball around. They get the ball around, and all these guys can score. All these guys can shoot. And right now, this team is looking very strong headed into the playoffs, just by the way they played against the Kings last night. They have a very cohesive offense. They play very well together. Zion Williamson with the inside game, Valanciunas with the inside game. They are able to kick out to very proficient shooters in CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, and when they need a break, Jose Alvarado comes in the game and he's hitting shots as well. The Kings' leading scorer on the night was our guy, De'Aaron Fox, with 33 big points. Harrison Barnes woke up, gave the team 22 points, which is great. Keegan Murray was alive out there with 19 points. Domantas Sabonis got out of his quick little scoring slump he had with a big 18 points. Davion Mitchell with 13 points. Domantas Sabonis had 10 rebounds. He was the leading rebounder. De'Aaron Fox was the leading assist getter with 8. Good to see Davion Mitchell still able to come in and pitch in with 13. Trey Lyles, a little bit of an off night with only 6 points. Team stats, the field goal percentages were about even in the mid-50s. 3-point percentage, Pelicans were just on fire with 55%. Kings, 42%, which is not bad. But the Pelicans were able to make 6 more threes than the Kings, which equals about 6 extra points. Free throws, Pelicans shot very good at free throw with 83. Kings were okay with 75. Rest of the stats were pretty much even. Kings had slight advantage in the paint with 54 to 46. And in the quarters, like I said earlier, this was the first game all season, the 80th game, where the team was able to lead the Kings the whole game without the Kings having an advantage at any time in the game. So they basically led at every quarter. The Kings made a little bit of a comeback in the second quarter, but in the third, the Pelicans did well, and they also did very well closing out, scoring more points than the Kings did in the fourth quarter. Eye test. Yeah, eye test. Eye test. Eye test. I'm going to give the Kings an eye test. So my eye test for today is that Pelicans were freaking hot. They were hitting shots relentlessly, especially at times when they needed to. They were able to get to the basket when they needed to. And overall, the team just looked really cohesive. They looked like they had a lot of chemistry. CJ McCollum, kind of the veteran leader out there. Zion, kind of the basket, the drive to the basket slasher guy, was Jonas Valanciunas cleaning up rebounds and playing defense, and Trey Murphy just being a Swiss Army knife out there, able to do everything. This team dominated the Kings. You know, what can I say? They went 5-0 against the Kings this season, and they were hot tonight. The Kings had little to no answer. De'Aaron Fox tried to go. He tried to ball out at the end. It was a little too. It was not enough. Too little, too late. And no, he didn't really have much help on the scoring end. I mean, guys are trying to pitch in like Domantas Sabonis and Harrison Barnes, but they just weren't hitting the way the Pelicans were hitting, and they didn't have enough defense to stop them. So that's my eye test. Bottom line, the Kings morning after. Bottom line. Today's bottom line is, man, I just hope that the Kings don't end up in a series against the Pelicans. They might get swept. Bottom line is the Kings are kind of limping into the playoffs a little bit, playing a little bit. Their two other starters are, well, one of the starters are out, and the guy that you could say could probably be a starter is also out. Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, they're out. So I'm not sure. They said Malik Monk might be able to come back for the play-in, one of the play-in games, or maybe even in the playoffs a little bit later. But at this point, we're going to have to rely on the guys that we pretty much had last night. We're going to have to go with the guys that are good. So that just means that they got to figure it out. You know, Harrison Barnes is going to have to stay hot. Keegan is going to have to stay hot. Keon Ellis, he went back down in scoring last night. He kind of had a hard game last night with no assists, 5 points. But we're going to have Keon running on all cylinders too. These guys are going to have to try to figure some things out going into this play-in tournament. Primarily, to me, it's going to be guys off the bench, like guys like Trey Lyles. They're going to have to be a little more consistent. Guys like Davion Mitchell going to have to be really consistent. And Keon Ellis, those guys are going to have to really just kind of fill in the Malik Monk void. So this game just really showed like what a really good athletic young team that has good shooters around them could look like. And that's my bottom line. Next up tonight, Friday, April 12th, in Sacramento, the Sacramento Kings will be facing the Phoenix Suns. And this game has very big implications on play-in rankings, where teams are gonna kind of end up in the play-in rankings. The Kings really want to beat these guys. They really want to try to go up to 7th place. Why not? Fight your way back to 7th. Why stay in 8th? Why lose and drop down to 9 and 10th? Okay, these Kings really need to play these guys hard. This is like a playoff game, in my opinion. This is a pre-playoff game because it's going to decide where these guys kind of rank. These guys are about the same record-wise, so they're about the same level. So it should be a playoff atmosphere. Hopefully the Kings, they're at home. They don't come out lackadaisical. They don't come out playing down to the competition. Hopefully they come out with a lot of energy. This is the second night of a back-to-back, so that concerns me a little bit. But hopefully these guys come out with a lot of energy. Hopefully they can get out to a decent lead. We all know Kevin Durant and Booker. This is a team of shooters as well, so they can get hot at any time. So the Kings just want to make sure they establish their three-point defense early, close out on guys quickly, and make sure they're closing out quarters really strong with good defense and some easy buckets, at the end of the quarters with good defense mixed in, and close out these halves and close out the end of the game. And as long as they put a body in a chest and they can kind of stay with Kevin Booker and Durant and those two guys don't go crazy, the Kings can beat this team. Betting lines. All right. So tonight's game is in Sacramento. Betting line has the Phoenix Suns winning 4.5. How do you guys feel about that? The Kings are actually favored by 1 last night. I think Vegas has just given up on the Kings at this point. They have the Suns winning by 4.5 points, which means about 5 points. So how do you guys feel about that? You can make a bet too. Just use the link in the description. It's this is the app I use, Bet Us. I bet in California. I couldn't use any other app, but this app lets me sports bet, so I use it. You can too. Use the link in the description below. They also have the Clippers blowing out the Jazz by 16. They have the Golden State Warriors beating the Pelicans by 5, who we just played. They're playing them at home. So they actually think the Warriors can beat the Pelicans. That's kind of interesting because last night we were favored by 1. Tonight, the Golden State Warriors are favored by 5. And I don't know if it's because they're on a back-to-back, but the way the Pelicans were playing, I don't know. I would favor them over the Warriors. Well, the way they played us anyway. And then the Rockets are favored to beat the Trailblazers. What do you think about that? Use the link in the description below. Make a few bets. See how it goes. I have a question for you guys. How do you feel about this season and where the Kings are ending up? They're obviously going to be one of the play-in games. Is this season a disappointment for you? Or do you think this is right about the level they should be at? Make a comment below. Let me know below. And if you make a comment before I make my next video, I'll post your comment on the next video. And as always, I ask if you're still watching up to this point, please like, please subscribe, please share, and please comment. If you're still watching, you must have liked something I said. I must have had some type of entertainment value. Like the video. Help me kick the algorithm's ass. Also, if you like talking Kings, you like Kings news, you like Kings analysis like this, then I ask that you please click the subscribe button. I do a review and analysis after every game. And also, we're going to be doing some live game watch and some live chat also. That stuff is going to be fun. So I invite you to that by subscribing and tune in after the Kings' next game, which is tonight, which means I'll be doing another video analysis of this Kings game tomorrow on the morning after. So please subscribe so you can check that out and share. I'm a new channel, but hey, we're trying to grow the channel. It helps kick the algorithm's ass if you share the content as well. And make a comment. That helps the channel too. And I got a motivational quote for you guys today. So I got a little bit of a different motivational quote today. It's not as much of a motivational quote, but more of a way to live. And it goes like this. Nature has given us all of the pieces required to achieve exceptional wellness and health, but has left it up to us to put these pieces together. Nature has given us all the pieces required to achieve exceptional wellness and health, but has left it up to us to put these pieces together. And that quote is by Diane McLaren. I think that's how you say it. And what she's basically saying is everything that we need to be healthy and well, we can find naturally or in nature. I agree with that. And that really goes along with eating and nutrition, right? Less processed foods, more whole foods, you know, less soda, less juice, or no soda, no juice, more water, you know, things like that. Natural, you know, be more natural, eat more naturally instead of fast food. You know, you might want to have something a little healthier from home or from the grocery store. So excellent quote. It's all about wellness and your health and living as long as you can. So I like that quote. But other than that, that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. If you're still watching, I really appreciate you. Hopefully you have clicked that like button for me. Hopefully you have subscribed. And hopefully you'll tune in tomorrow for the next episode of The King's Morning After. Midday Cup of Joe with Jay. Yeah, and that's really an authentic Dixie cup. I don't know why it looks so damn bright. Can't even see it. Right there, Dixie cup. But yeah, thanks for joining me. Hopefully you'll come back again tomorrow. Subscribe, turn on the notifications, and check me out later. And anyway, I'm out. But before you go, check out my moves. It's good.